detours in town. Dawn, I believe you are an alternate, so given the relative lack of full committee, I'm elevating you to a full voting member of the committee.
Thank you.
Yes. And this is for Jen when she gets here. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. The minutes will be coming shortly. When Dave recovers from his tooth extraction, poor man.
That's on TV.
So those are TBA.
Yes.
Okay. And you'll do these minutes and those minutes simultaneously.
I will.
I understand.
I will juggle it, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Jen will present her illustrations shortly. Let's jump to the draft survey. And there it is, up there. Are there any concerns about the draft survey to accompany the three design concepts that we'll vote on today? Any question about these questions? Any suggestions?
Are we worried, I mean, will people spend the time like ranking, like, and pretend, I mean, and I'm just throwing that out there, like rank these, the public. Well, you know, I've got these A to G and I've got to rank them. But I mean, just wondering if we should say the top three or something. But I mean, they won't rank them or they will, I guess.
Yep, that's correct. Rank ordering, studies of rank ordering, because this has been studied a lot in voting preferences, so states and countries that have rank ordering. Actually, the electorates there do a very good job of
Great.
ranking their choices down to a level of I believe it's 8 or 9. So I think it's a fair guess that folks will at least rank their top 3. And if they only rank 3, that's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see their rankings.
Yes, I am too. Any other questions, concerns?
So physically, when it goes to the public,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to just write a 1, 2, or 3 next to the letter? Is that how it's going to be set up?
That's how I understand it. Amanda is in charge of the Google Forms that will be present on the town website. Bob Glowacki says that he will present the Google Forms.
Okay.
And so
So it'll be easy to do, and it has to be done electronically? Could it be done on a piece of paper?
could be done on a piece of paper.
And how will those be collected?
Not a clue. So
Okay.
I really don't know. I was hoping that.
I emailed you mine.
So you'll have to enter.
Did you get that?
I did.
Okay.
Okay. But suggestions on how this might be done?
I'm not very tech savvy. I'm just trying to get it so that it's the easiest possible for the most amount of people to participate.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, how can we make it easy, right? That's the big thing.
Hello, Dev. Welcome, Dev. Dev, your timing is fantastic. Have a seat. No, it really is. Do you have any input onto how surveys might be made, how they might be done non-electronically? Can they be done on paper? Can that survey up there be done on paper? And if you need to catch your breath, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm confident that we can create a paper version of the survey and have it available.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Great question.
Yeah. It was Keith's question, and
So electronically speaking, from a format, you have an idea that you're going to be able to put 1, 2, 3 next to A, B, and C. And then the second question, why did you rate concept 1, 2, and 3 the way you did? So that could require some people to have a pretty lengthy explanation for 1, 2, and 3 on A, B, and C. So is that, I'm just trying to get a way to make it efficient, because people's tensions, if they're anything like mine, people's attention spans are lean. So you're like, okay, how do I make this easy? Boom, 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 get what I want, get the facts, so the setup is that. That's-
Welcome, Jen.
That's what I'm asking. Hi, Jen.
You can sit here or there, wherever, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Good answer, brother.
So,
Can you limit a question to like 50 characters or 500 characters? I believe you can on Google Forms.
you definitely can on Google Forms. What we're trying to balance is getting the directness of responses and the detail that people may want to express that will inform why they voted, what informed their vote.
Good.
And so while I suspect that most responses would live within a certain character range, what I think in Google Forms was the version of like a short answer. The reason that you give people the option of the long paragraph is if someone has a lot to say, what's really integral to this process is giving people the opportunity to say it. And then the responsibility for us on like the analysis part is, all right, great. Then we're going to read everything that you wrote. What we actually wind up doing might not be what you want, but the benefit, the power of public input is giving people giving them the option to fully express themselves.
Gotcha.
But I'm saying that I'd need to go back to look at because the paper version of the survey, it'll be easier for us to construct where there's an image next to question, like which do you like and why do you like that. We can design the paper version different than the limitations of the Google form, where we probably will be able to keep the image constant. So when you say, rate copy of these 3 illustrations, why did you rate concept 1, 2, 3 the way you did? If one of our concerns is people won't remember what the image of the concept was, yeah, we could probably find a way to create an image that stacks or arranges the 3 next to each other.
Just don't want to make it confusing. That was
Right.
the reason for my questions.
Yeah, and your question makes me think about how we should test the survey. So what I might propose is that if we could get a quick test of the survey. I think there's already a version that's been created by Amanda. Is that accurate?
I have no idea.
Okay. She had written in response that she had developed the survey already. So what I would like to propose is if anyone on this committee has the capacity within the next 24 hours to take the survey, give us some rapid feedback, and then we'll tweak the survey as best as we can based
All
on
of
that
us, or
feedback.
just one of us, or?
No, everyone
All
at
of us.
everyone on the committee who would have
Yeah.
the capacity within the next day. Then at the end of the meeting, we'll make sure that we send out the survey to the committee, and then if you would reply probably to Steve, right, and emailing your comments, Steve can compile those comments, forward them to Amanda and I, and then we can make sure that we make the tweaks to the survey based on your testing.
Anyone interested?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you'll get several volunteers.
When do you need
Awesome.
comments
Yeah.
by? Like, can you have a deadline?
Yeah, I mean, the sooner the better. I was thinking 24 hours, but what I think is actually maybe more realistic is if we give people until Monday. Like, I don't know if we release a survey tomorrow, Friday. Depending on who you are, Friday's not a great time to send messages that people read.
Well, it's Easter weekend, and family and friends are on people's mind.
Yeah.
I think Monday morning turnaround would be great. I'm meeting with Bob Glowacki to make sure that he can get it up on the town website on Monday morning. If folks were able to respond over the weekend, how's that?
So that's in the email now?
No, nothing's been emailed.
Amanda, I think, emailed to Steve and I. No?
No, I didn't see any email from her.
Yeah, so I don't remember seeing that, but I'm also very much a Luddite when it comes to technology. So I don't, you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. Is there a lot of people who want to have input who don't necessarily or aren't awesome at navigating online functions, you know? And so that's an assumption that we all make, you know, that people,
Right.
people do
Right.
that, but.
But is this really a test of the survey? Do it to us?
It would be a test, and then you would fill out subsequently your actual response.
Yeah.
So this would be, take a look at it, give your comments, and we wouldn't compile anything. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, well, we can,
Or
as a member, yeah, as the member of the public,
Yeah.
what we can do is we can flag on the back end of the data that, oh, these are our members of the committee. So if we wanted to separate out the responses of the committee, if we want to just say they're testing, I mean, we can decide that later if we
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
But what's really most important here is, we probably should have talked about this at the end of last meeting, is you make a survey because there's limitations to the survey with different types of people. One of the things you do is you test a survey. In addition to testing a survey, having a paper version is great. In addition to that, what we did in the last phase of public input is we kind of did some person on the street activities. And that is on, I am raising my hand to do at least 2 kind of public activities, which means drag a table in front of the park. And we had talked, Jen and I had talked about whether then we might be able to create any kind of artifact. Because last time, I think Mary and maybe some other people created like a trifold. And so we can do some version of that again. And then I would like to be able to do that within those 3 weeks' time so that we can say that we've hit people up in 3 different ways: an electronic survey, a paper survey, and then some person on the street kind of pop-up works to try to get input.
And the electronic survey will be available on the town website. So
Okay.
for folks who can navigate there, I don't know where on the town website. I just know that Bob Glowacki is going to set it up. But in addition, I had thought to write an article, which I actually already drafted, with certain quotations from you and from Amanda, which I totally made up, and from me, because that's the way how these things work, and putting it out in the Exeter newsletter, because they generally like articles that are already written, and having that as a form of publicity and mentioning the town website.
Good idea.
I think an additional route. With that, you'll address the open, I'm going to make, not a motion, but a statement. And if you're okay with it, go with it. You'll make adjustments to the open-ended question, number 2, and make sure it's an appropriate length form. You'll create a paper form. You'll send something to us within the next 24 hours. We'll try to respond by the end of the weekend, latest by Monday morning, and then you'll get something to me and Bob Glowacki, who can post it on the website. Does that sound good?
That does.
And
Can
will
you-
the paper form be like available, like say at the library and things like that?
Yeah, like, I welcome, these are awesome and important questions that are being asked. So I also welcome ideas.
Okay.
Where should we have paper copies of a survey? And if we
Town
don't,
hall
yeah.
is obviously one site. The town offices, I'd say, you know.
Yeah, where you register your
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Library is another great one. Is there another location that would be beneficial? The senior center?
Senior centre was the,
Senior center, yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If anyone has any other thoughts about physical locations for paper copies of the survey, just let us know.
Okay.
The Historical Society might be, but they're only open 3 days a week
Yeah.
for a couple hours
Yeah.
each time, so maybe not.
So, thank you very much for that. Moving on to the design concepts. Let's see now. Where did I put the design concepts? Let's bring up the design concepts.
You need more tabs.
I do. Um, and design concepts. Here we are. Okay. Go ahead, Jen.
Sure. So option one has not changed whatsoever. Really, the only change was to option two. So if
Okay.
you want to just kind of skip ahead, I don't think we
Yeah.
need to go over them again. So option two was presented last week. And if you'll recall, you start at a small plaza at the street elevation down where it says number one. So that area is all flat, but then you kind of walk around a low retaining wall, and where it says number two, that was going to be a sloped walkway, not a ramp, so no handrails, but just a walkway that's sloping at 4.5%, all the way down and around the snail shell to a plaza, like where you see 4 and 3, those are all at the same elevation, which was about 29. So that whole area was accessible. Then we had a series of what I call stadium seating or amphitheater seating, which is like kind of like big chunky steps that you can sit on, going down to the existing retaining wall where you're kind of as close as you can get to the river. There were some concerns presented at the last meeting that was leaving a decent chunk of the gathering area, about 250 square feet, as an inaccessible space. And it's also kind of the prime location. It's like the area that everyone wants to go. Everyone wants to get down to the river. So I took that feedback and thought about how I could get that pathway down to work in an accessible way. Did a lot of grading exercises. Unfortunately, there's just like not enough room. Like as Steve mentioned last week, I mean, you need 120 linear feet. We have 60 from the sidewalk to the river to get down that steep grade change that we have. So the solution that I'm presenting here essentially incorporates the deck that you see at the end there, number 6, that overlook with railing is raised up to the elevation of that plaza, number 3. So you're at like elevation 29, the sidewalk is at about 32, the top of the retaining wall is at about 25. So you're like halfway down in elevation, not quite at water level. I also played with the idea, and I don't think it changes this scheme at all, of turning that winding walkway, number 2, into a ramp, which gets, I think if you go to the next slide, or maybe the one after that with the grading plan. Yeah, so this kind of gets us down to, if we wanted to add handrails to that curving walkway and increase the slope from 4.5% to 8%, it becomes an official ramp, which means you can only go 30 feet, and then you have to have a landing, and then you can go another 30 feet. So that gets us down to about elevation, I think it's 27.5 or so. So you're down lower. More expensive, because now you got to add handrails. Amanda sent a great image. I didn't include it here, I just didn't get around to it. But like, I thought there's a lot of cool things you can do with handrails. You can make them an experience. You can make them an art piece. So it's something to consider if we wanted to do this. But so that's kind of where we're at. I think the scheme is sort of the same. Either way, it's just going to become a grading exercise that we do during the design and engineering phase of this. I think that the overall meat of this option 2 is generally the same.
Is the
Bill,
seating,
if you could speak into
oh,
the,
yes. is the seating area, which is at 3, has those little things. Is that all at the same level? Mm-hmm. Could that be where the first, if you went at 8 feet, whether that would be the place you'd have, if you had a place on the path that had to be level because of if I understood that right, maybe I don't have it right.
Oh, the landing.
The landing, could it be there so they could then get into those other areas there? And then go on.
I'm not sure I follow.
So could one of these tree areas,
Yeah.
for example, right here and right here, be a landing?
So they technically are serving as landings, the way it is now. So
Uh-huh,
that is kind of
okay.
how it works. When you're going down the path, you're always higher, like when you're on number 2, you're always higher up than number 3. So you're never connecting.
How do you get in there? You don't until you get to 4?
You got to go all the way down to 4 and around. Yeah, you walk the spiral. It's meditative.
That's good. But I was wondering whether, if you had to put a landing in, whether it would be able to then cut left and go right into.
Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, you could add you could put stairs there. That's, if you wanted to make that shortcut, you'd have to add some
The short answer, Bill, is
No.
no. Yeah.
stairs.
Can I-
To avoid that.
Yeah.
Why there's two other things. One is that a guy like me needs a railing to get from 4 to 5 to 4 to 6 too, just to hold on to. I'm not very good at.
4 and 6 are at the same elevation.
They are.
Yes. So in this scheme, like they are now
okay.
complete in
I got it.
6.5 in that.
And what about
But-
using a little more of the rock area on the left there rather than just
Yeah, so
fill it?
essentially, I mean, we can play with that. It's,
Could that
That-
be a ramp?
there could be a railing there. We could expand that deck. It's essentially holding up a pretty steep slope there. So that's why it's rock. You know, the more you build into it, then you need to start talking about maybe it becomes a retaining wall or something. And, you know, I'm just
And-
trying to consider cost.
Just as a side note, recall that there's a 6-foot, 8-inch right-of-way along Cornicello.
Right.
So
This would be on the side with
Yeah.
the.
So the
chocolate
riprap becomes a necessary element, as I understand it, because the grade down to their right-of-way is pretty sharp.
The rocks, looking at the rocks on the chocolatier side.
Oh, on the chocolatier side, oh, gosh.
There are a lot of rocks in there.
Yep, we do.
Could sit on the rocks.
Well,
Yeah, riprap.
Yep.
yeah.
Can
I
I?
like this.
I don't think anyone would be prevented from sitting on those rocks.
Dawn?
Yes, so can you just tell us the difference, how much height we go down between the two ideas? And one of the reason for the question is I know we were concerned about the deck because you couldn't see the river. So if we put a ramp in, how much more river do we think we'll see? Like, are we getting a lot by putting the railings in?
Oh, if you go to the next slide, you might be able to see that in the visualization. So the top view, you can't zoom in, can you?
Control, oh, yeah. Oh, wow, look at that. I don't know how to
Super
move.
zoom. That's the river side.
This is the riverside looking up.
Can you go to the first one?
He's trying.
Let me see. Oh, boy. Boy, I'm
Yeah.
not very
I think
good
it
at
got a
this.
little washed out, but you can kind of get a sense that you would,
Good at this.
I think you would see some river in there. And, you know, remember, this is a view from like almost across the street on Water Street, so
So
you're actually on the sidewalk.
So my question is, between the two ideas you had for it, do we get a lot more river view if we put a ramp in with a railing? Like, is it worth us getting people lower?
Probably a little more.
A little bit more.
Or like how
yeah.
much lower are we getting people?
You're getting about another 1.5 feet.
So not a
grade
lot
change,
for
not
a
a
lot
lot.
for a lot of railings.
Oh,
Correct.
I can move
But
this
the
one.
railings, address the accessibility concern about making more square footage accessible?
Only,
You're talking about the ramp,
yeah.
making that path into a ramp.
Only if she increases the slope.
Yeah. So you can look here and you can see the bottom of the right-of-way on either side, well, on either side, I don't believe on the corner, the chocolatier side, that's flat, relatively speaking.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
flattens out.
Yeah.
Because they have a retaining wall too.
Yeah. But the bottom is at 25 feet.
Okay.
And the area with the deck is at 27 feet.
Yeah, so you'll
So
be-
it's 2 feet. It's not 6 feet.
Well, there's also something to be said for the view of the river unfolding as you go down the path.
Yep, yep.
Do you necessarily need to see it from the street?
Right, no, I believe
No.
that too.
No?
And what is that you believe?
You don't really have to stand at the sidewalk and see the river.
No.
It's a park.
And my perception, may be wrong, but that you're going to have pretty good view of the river with this, if we go with this. One would have pretty good view of the river from everywhere. You'll have 2 feet chopped off, but the river is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as you descend the ramp, it's only gonna,
Become more in view.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I don't think you're going to lose
Yeah.
very much
Oh,
with this elevation of 2
So-
feet.
And I think really what I was getting to is if we make it steeper and we put in the ramps, are we actually gaining a lot?
Well, so you lose something too, which is you lose that ability, that lower,
No. So between the two, like there was one that you showed that went down, but then wasn't the one that had the ramps that went down that got us even lower, or was it?
The steps.
Okay, I thought for some reason I thought there was two. So, okay, so to make it accessible, we have to put the ramps in with the railings.
no.
if we go steeper, this is.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Why are we going steeper? What are we getting for going steeper?
To go steeper than this.
We're not,
This is completely
This is the
accessible.
steepest version.
This is
Yeah, because there were
4.5%.
two versions. There was three. But anyway, maybe I got it wrong. So I just
Are
because
you-
you could do it without putting the. You could still go down at the how we've got it and just make the deck at the bottom without the steps, or you could make it steeper so we could go lower at the bottom. Is that right?
Right, but we're never going to get to the 25. The lowest we can go is 27.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think, honestly, I don't think it's something we need to figure out now.
Okay.
I think it's the concept is there, it's accessible. We've gotten
Yeah.
to the 1,400 square feet of accessible space.
Okay.
And I think when we get into the design phase and the engineering phase and we're looking at costs and we have a budget,
Yeah.
that's when I think we can do that analysis of, okay, well, we're getting an extra 18 inches
Yeah.
closer to the river, but it's going to cost us $20,000. Like,
Yeah, that's exactly
when
what
we
I was
can figure
getting
it
for,
out.
and and if we can wait
I
for
think
that,
it might be a
that's
little too early.
Perfect.
to have that
That's what I'm.
conversation.
Yeah.
And the deck itself is curved to match the size of the shape of the snail. Or the,
Yeah, that was the idea.
I like that.
Oh, thank you.
It's an elegant design.
It is
Um,
unique.
And thank you for drumming it up.
The only way you get to the circle that's the closest to the bottom of to Water Street is to go all the way down and come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See if yeah. I thought if there
You want a
was a
shortcut.
way halfway down there, if there was some way of getting in.
Well, this right here, which is that's a cement wall and a place to sit. It could alternatively be a step. If, and so someone who had mobility issues would have to go all the way down like this, go all the way down here, get to these bosque areas, and alternatively, someone who didn't have mobility issues could step down. That could be an option. So,
Okay.
yeah, one or the other. Yeah.
Which could be addressed, like Jen said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more design.
yeah, yeah,
Go with the
exactly,
concept.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go with the concept, yeah.
Then great job. Well done. Thank you for
Thank you.
making it accessible.
Yes, gosh.
Yeah, this is completely accessible.
Yeah.
And that was
The main,
thing. In fact, going through our goals and our requirements, one of the most important requirement was. that it-
ADA.
Yeah, well, it'd be
Yeah.
universally acceptable, even beyond ADA.
Yes.
And I know that you sacrificed some artistic.
Well, I think, I
points.
mean, yeah, I don't think it's as so much artistic as I think the only thing we're really missing out on is that inability to, I think people kind of are drawn to like get down to the river, and we haven't really talked about this, but I think that people are gonna go beyond the park and probably wander into the grasses and stuff out there. Because there's nothing stopping you from doing that anymore. There won't be a fence. So what that did is it extended the park as far as it could go.
So there is a railing here at the end of the deck, so you don't fall off the deck.
But
But,
it's not a fence, right? You can slide under it.
well, it's
It's a
right here.
railing,
It's
yeah,
a
you
railing.
can-
It's
Maybe
a-
you could, I mean, you can walk on the riprap,
And you can walk on the right of
or whatever
way.
those stones are.
The-
You know, you could
People are
climb
smart, they can get around with the obstacles that we put in their way. But yes, you notice that down here, this area down here, can you see that? Yeah. That's totally accessible down to the river. You can get down to the bank, you can get down to the river. It's not closed in, it's a right-of-way. The Cornicello folks have rights to that, just as we do. It's a shared right-of-way. That's the same with any design. This first design, this second design, the first design, the third design. So they all have a right-of-way, which basically goes down to the river bank on the Cornicello side.
And those are 5 feet wide?
6 feet, 8 inches.
6 feet, 8 inches?
Yeah. And-
Gosh.
Chocolatier is not quite as wide, is that correct?
No, that's correct. It's at most 39 inches. And this right here is, if you're interested, this is a copy of the plan done in 2023. It just shows the rights of way very clearly. But,
It's narrower there.
yeah.
Do you want to see?
Can you see that?
Yeah, I'd love to see. And then if I want to make room for, doesn't sound like there's any changes to option 3?
I did not make any changes to
No,
option 3. no.
Option 3 is the same. So, getting the design grid for feedback that we gave you last week, we now have said, can the design option include all 10 features minus the water feature? Yes to all of them. And then question number 3, I'm going to jump to. Does the design option align with our stated goals and requirements? Yes to all 3 of them. Can it be implemented in phases? I think all 3 of them can. I'm not sure how 2 would be, but I have an idea how number 1, which is the one with the superstructure, and that one clearly, you could do the deck first and you could do the superstructure later. But you think that all 3 could be done in phases? That's a question.
I mean, it depends on what the phases are, like, In theory, yes. If you're talking about the whole build-out, including things like art and signage,
Yes.
that could always
Yes.
come later.
Yep, art and signage could come later.
Yep.
Plaques, benches even, but yeah.
I mean, you could even do, I think, too, you could just not build the deck, if there was a cost thing, and just grade out the bottom.
The big point being, we have some flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
and we can put this to the taxpayer if need be. We can do this part in phase one and that part, a year later or two. Should that be something that we need to do, we can do that. So all three of them are implementable in phases. And then the specific, I don't think you can read this. Come on. All right. Yep. So this is about relationships. We answered all these questions last time. I think I hope folks are comfortable with what we said last time. I don't think there's any need to make any further comments there. Then that brings up, are there any other comments? Mary last time brought up the bit about, environmental design, rain drains, runoff. All three of those design concepts can include.
And probably will have to include
And probably, okay.
stormwater management.
Stormwater management, runoff management. So that's nothing that differentiates one from the other. They're all the same in that regard. So I'm satisfied. Is everyone else satisfied with that?
I'm satisfied.
I'm
yeah.
satisfied.
All right. Were there any other outstanding questions along these lines for design criteria? Give everyone a moment. Well, then I will entertain a motion that we present these three alternatives in a survey to the public.
I'll
Do I-
move that. I'll move that.
You'll move that?
Yep.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Can I second?
You are a voting member as of this moment. Yes.
I will second today.
Yes. Okay. So, Bill and Dawn, there's a motion on the table. Is there any discussion? Very good. Hearing none, then let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Declinations?
They're three good designs, they really are.
Thank you very much, Jen.
And I hope they all
for-
vote for the one I want.
Yeah. Thank you for the work. I have no concept, actually, I don't have a concept of how many hours of pro bono work you spent. Don't admit.
It's been, I honestly don't know either. It's been logged, I will add it to the spreadsheet, but it's not terrible.
Okay. Very good. So we have, that brings us to next steps. So, next steps. You're going to send out a survey for us to test. We're going to test it. I will meet with Bob Glowacki. I will make sure that it's posted somewhere on the town website. I will let you folks know. You're also going to design a paper form, and that will be placed with a container in which to put the survey, so that we can collect it, at the town library, the town offices, and the senior center. And does that include the new rec center? The senior center is at the rec center.
Yeah.
Was that
the
open?
rec-
The
The new
new-
rec center isn't open yet.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Right?
so-
You can put it in Pethampton Road, Steve, but no one's gonna grab it.
Okay, all right. We'll put it there just for looks.
The
Okay,
contractors.
yeah, exactly. So you're going to do that. I am going to work with Bob on getting it onto the town website, and I will work on an article that I will send out to you and to Amanda with quotations for your approval or editing that I completely made up just to get the article going. And then I will submit that.
Got it.
Okay. And those are our next steps. Then we come to next meeting where we will run the survey for 3 weeks and then tabulate the responses and have them available before the next meeting so that people have time to look at the responses.
Right. What date, can you give us a definite date by which you need the analysis and findings completed?
That Tuesday. So we meet on Thursday, the 15th, so Tuesday, the 13th. That's when we need them, so I can send them out. Can you do?
Yeah, we'll get it done.
Okay. And the next meeting, we'll discuss and vote.
Next meeting, the 17th, it's today.
15.
15th.
Yeah, but
it's-
on the papers,
It's,
what did I have?
it's May
That's today.
15th.
Yeah,
It's May 15th.
yep.
Yeah, May 15th. Did I say April? No?
No.
No, he's
May.
last
May.
month.
Okay, it's using the last month. Okay.
Oh,
Yep,
oh, that's the problem.
yeah. Very good.
Okay.
With business concluded, this,
Jen, all 3 designs require the hole to be filled, correct?
Yes.
I mean, I guess technically the deck,
well, we need to
have
fill,
to
we need to
fill
fill the foundation.
I think
to-
we
to-
kind of, I
yeah,
think we should fill the
yeah.
foundation.
So the objection from before was that we weren't sure if we were going to have to take material out after we put it in.
Oh.
And if that was very clear, made very clear, that's why we didn't fill in the hole originally. So with your 3 designs that we're going to vote on, the public's going to vote on, and input, they all require the hole to be filled. So to my mind, I would entertain, put this in everybody's head right now, is that I think we should recommend to the select board that we fill in the hole and figure out a way to open that park for the next 2 years while this process plays out. And even if it means taking the fence that's on the road and moving it to the river, which you could absolutely do. And get the hole filled in, satisfy the man at the chocolatier who's concerned about his foundation. One glance there would tell you that he has legitimate concerns.
And salvage the granite.
Exactly, all the above, and perhaps use them as temporary benches until we can, either way, we could loam that, seed it, and get it open this year for people to use until the voters decide to fund it, and then we got bids and construction, and it could be a couple of years going. So my proposal is that we consider saying to the select board, hey, let's fill in the hole, get the granite out of there, make it a temporary park. As far as the ADA goes, I had spoken with Amanda about that, we can make something work in the interim to make it accessible and safe. Now, many times in this discussion, we talked about, well, you could fall underneath the guardrail, you could go around the rocks and get into the river, there's a million different things that could happen. Moving that fence down that way would prevent that in the interim. So, just saying that's something we should think about. It's my feeling, strong feelings about public lands should be open to the public. Delaying them for a couple of years while we get the funding is a great concept, but it doesn't open the land to the public, which is theirs, ours. Now, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bill?
I just think I concur with it, but it'd also be good PR. to get
Yeah, we're
that-
doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing something. People
We don't
get-
have the money just yet, we don't have all the input just yet, but we're doing something. Here you go, let's get down and see the wild and beautiful river.
I think if we have people using it, we've got more buy-in too.
Exactly.
something to think about. Let's
Yeah.
discuss next meeting as, we think about what are the implications of filling in the hole. Not saying it's a bad idea, but there will be fallout from that idea. Let's just think about what the fallout might be and whether there's a rejoinder to that argument. So, very good. Any other points, other business? We adjourned.
Thank you for
15
tuning
minutes
in
early.
to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.